This year, Insta360 released their new 360 camera, the X4, which now boasts an 8K resolution, and it got me thinking, is this finally a genuine case for one camera to rule them all? And is a 360 camera now worth it? I love playing with the X3 version, which is slightly smaller and has a smaller battery life to go with it. And it was good, but still limited on quality at times. So could this finally be a 360 action camera for creators to take seriously in their kit bag? So this video will help you decide if a 360 camera is for you, what it can be used for, the best accessories and workflows that go with it, and of course, you can learn how good the Insta360 X4 really is. What better way to find out than taking another potentially game-changing new piece of tech out for a spin, my new Maeving RM1S electric motorcycle. If you're new here, welcome to Better Creating, where I'm also collecting great ideas, tools and tech to make your life better. Let's do it. And here we are filming on the Insta360 X4 in 8K 30 frames per second and in a color gradable flat color profile. And I think the quality is pretty amazing. This is a massive upgrade, and probably the big headline of the shift from the X3 to the X4 is that we're moving from 5.7K up to 8K, which means in 360 degrees, you'll always have a 4K image. That must be a game changer for lots of people. And speaking of which, this, if you want to know, is the bike I'm very excited about. Also a bit of a games changer in its sphere, the Maeving RM1S. This is the latest from the British manufacturer. It's built in the UK. It will do 80 miles on a single charge on the two removable batteries that you can take inside and charge on a domestic plug. And it hits 70 miles an hour and is dead silent. This thing is really a game changer and I'm absolutely loving it. And there's storage on the inside, which is rather good. So what we're going to do is we're going to go and test out this X4 camera, put it through its paces using all of the motorcycle mounts and everything else that Insta360 has sent over. And since this is changing the game and bringing new motorcyclists to motorcycling, maybe the X4 can bring new people to using a 360 camera. Let me know if you want to know more about the bike in the comments, but for now, it's time to get on the road. Even though this is 8K, it spreads across the 360 degrees, so it's not like an 8K 16:9 shot, but it is a huge leap forward from the 5.7K previous max on the X3, and it all makes for a sharper, more detailed footage, which is particularly noticeable when you're editing and reframing shots. You can also see here how the camera is slightly larger and has much more usable screen than the X3. I much prefer it. It also is making room for a larger battery, which I believe gets up to 75 minutes of use. In addition, if you're shooting action, you'll be chuffed that the new X4 can now film 5.7K at 60 frames per second and 4K up to 100 frames per second, making it a much more serious option for some slowed down footage. Let's talk shooting modes, and I love the single lens mode that allows you to film as you would with the traditional action camera, particularly cool on a chest mount, for example. I'm also super happy to see improved low light performance on the X4 compared to the X3, particularly if you film in that 5.7K mode, as it recommends. Insta360 has really stepped up their game here with features like Me Mode now in 4K. That makes it a brilliant, easy vlogging option. More on that in a bit. It tracks you basically down the selfie stick and it's really easy to use. And I also really like to see this de-warp view that is really lovely on everyday shots. Now, the X4 image stabilization is, as always, amazing. Their flow state software is one of the best in the game, and it can turn very shaky footage into smooth shots. There is even an active HDR mode that will give you a flatter looking image that will then have more detail in the highlights. This means smoother, more detailed footage, whether you're cruising down a busy street or taking some off-road terrain or running back to your bike. The dynamic range has also seen a boost, so you get those rich contrasts and vibrant colors straight out of the camera. Generally, I like filming in vivid, so I get really rich contrast and vibrant colors straight out of the camera. Either way, there are endless options to offer creators and enthusiasts for flexible creative control over your shots. And that is one of the reasons to get a 360 camera, right? But should you own a 360 camera? And who are they really good for beyond action sports stars? So, I think that Insta360 want us to see these action cameras as more than just action cameras. The 360 camera they want us to use in many more use cases and different types of production. And I kind of somewhat agree. I'm plugged in right now with my wireless Go, we've got a mic, and I just couldn't get these shots in any other way. So I think there's 4 ways that really make these cameras worthwhile. Number 1 has got to be that flexibility and creative control that you're gonna have. You can't get shots like this, certainly not as easily, in any other format. The next option has to be our ability to reframe the shot in post. This is an amazing option when you know you're going to get what you need to get. You can just turn the camera on and you know you're not going to miss any action. And that also means that you've got much more flexibility now with that 8K resolution, where you're going to be able to do loads more things with a single shot. And that leans it towards a third thing. This is a brilliant travel camera, and one that I think is probably really underrated as something for when you go traveling. You can just whack it on your selfie stick, turn it on, and you've got all of that flexibility later on. And I suppose there's also this. Use case number 4 is vlogging. X4, any 360 camera really, is actually a really great vlogging camera just because it's so light and easy to use. But Insta360 have this mode, which is me mode, which means that wherever I turn, it shoots straight back down the selfie stick, which you can't see. And that just makes everything so much better. The other great thing about this is they've now upped the level of that to 4K. So when I used it on the X3, I didn't find it particularly useful because it was too low resolution. Problem solved. Now, if you're interested, I'm filming on the Rode Wireless Go 2, which has a direct adapter which you can connect and attach it to the camera, which means that you can then get this kind of quality sound. And I believe with the X4 now, it has Bluetooth compatibility, meaning you can connect your headphones, the DJI, make a mic that directly connects to it via Bluetooth, and you can even add certain motorbike intercoms, I believe, to it. So it gives real flexibility with sound connections. Pretty cool. Oh, and with a 360 cam on an invisible selfie stick in me mode, you can do that kind of thing, which is just quite good fun. A big problem still remains here though. If you do decide this is for you, you can get totally drawn in to an accessory purchasing nightmare. It's where the cost really mounts up with a 360 camera or action cam, so you should know the essential accessories to actually bother with. For creators who want to take full advantage of the X4, these are the must-haves. But I would start with this, the invisible selfie stick. It's a huge improvement over the previous model. It's stronger, lighter, and sturdier, and it still disappears completely from your shots, giving you that seamless floating camera effect. I also love that there is what I think is a 1/4-20 mount screw on the bottom, so I can mount that to a tripod or an Amaran light stand. Even I'm using it to boom my mic in right now. And let's not forget about this, the protective rubber cover, really worth having, particularly if you bike, because you can just lob it over the top of the camera to keep it safe when you're not shooting. It's simple yet effective as a way to protect your investment, especially if you're out riding and don't want to worry about damaging the lens on your camera when it's not in use. One of the key upgrades to the X4 is the introduction of removable lens guards, which are now included, which they weren't on the X3. This is an absolute game changer. I've totally scratched up my X3 in the past, and it's not very easy to swap out the lenses. It's incredibly easy though to use these and then just buy a couple more if you lose them. I think it provides really, really useful peace of mind, and it's included. Oh, and if you do have the dosh, the 3-meter selfie stick is probably worth the investment just for the hilarity. It's also a very, very good thing to replace a drone at times where it might be illegal to use one. We had a really good laugh using this on our moto camping trip recently. Beyond that, if you want to mount your camera to anything else, like a ski pole or a bike or whatever else, then I recommend checking out the Insta360 bundle packs that really are worthwhile. You can stick them to helmets, attach them to bikes, and this new mount here, which is particularly strong, is so much better than the old one, so they've really got that dialed in, and it's how I'm getting the shots on this bike. Okay, it's time to ride home to the studio and answer that question once and for all. Is a 360 camera really worth it? And what are the downsides, if there are any? The resolution doesn't look too different now alongside mirrorless cameras, compared to the X3 at least, and the Insta360 X4 is the clear winner to that end. So I'd say if you want a 360 camera, you need to only go for the X4. The 8K and slow-mo options alone make it a much more usable device for capturing high-quality immersive footage. The downsides of this camera, well, I still think 360 cameras just remain a little niche for many people, meaning that most creators and everyday users will likely want to film on an iPhone or mirrorless camera alongside this. Also, I'd note that often filming in 8K can be too much for longer duration shots for both battery and storage, and probably overheating if it's really hot. But on the X4 there is a 5.7K plus mode, which came out for me as the sweet spot for filming on longer rides, like this trip to Dungeness on my Royal Enfield. So I'm filming in 4K 30. This is the sound of the mic indoors. Nothing, it's just straight into camera. And I've got to say, this is the most easy to use camera for versatile use that I've discovered. So whilst this is a big investment, if I was going to buy one action camera this year to do everything, it would be the Insta360 X4. Well, that's 360 cameras for you. Let me know what you make of them in the comments, hit the like button if you like it. But if you want to find more great tech and tools to make your creative or work life a little better, I think you should watch this video next for the best tools and tech to improve your work from home setup. Click on my face to subscribe, hit the like button, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.